Hello, everybody, and welcome to the No Bones podcast. Once again, Richard Liss, who's decided to take his lovely missus on holiday and do her heading for a bit instead of you lot. But he will be back soon, fear not. Before we jump into UFC and preview show for 308, we're going to touch a little bit on Francis Ngannou and his PFL debut. He rocked up last week as we record this. And as I say, on his PFL debut, an emotional time, a great performance. What did you think of it, Chris? Francis, been a long time out. He's back.
I just think all in all, everyone's got to take their hats off to him to come through what he's came through, all that adversity, his injury, getting flattened by Joshua, coming back to PFL, massive stage. It's one of the biggest cards I've ever put on against a bit of a formidable champion over there in PFL. And to do what he did in such a first round.
Yeah.
Like I said, for everything he's come through, to be able to do that, I mean, everyone, even John Jones were praising him. Yeah. I mean, he shot a double leg, which he did like against Civil Garn, which he's showing, different levels of his game. And
it's growth. It's growth, I guess, isn't it? Especially when you've just been in boxing ring for a couple of fights in a couple of years to have to go back to that. It's a bit, but it was a great performance.
He's been labelled as just a big puncher, but I think there's more to him than that. Like when he fought Cyril Garn, he pretty much, as that final round were going on with Garn, he started taking him down, and he got better in that way. Exactly what I did here.
That big dump he did on him, that was massive, wasn't it? I remember that against Cyril Garn. He just picked him up. A massive dump on down there. But like I say, what a formidable opponent that he had in his PFL debut. He was champion there, a quick, massive guy, and Francis came through it. All the emotions poured out at the end because of his personal tragedies and stuff like that. But this guy's got an incredible story, and who knows, he might top off that fairy tale one day by being undisputed boxing champion and beating Alexander Usyk. Because I, for one, think if Francis Ngannou lands one on Usyk's chin, Usyk's going to fucking never land. But it's about
he's got to land it.
That's it. So I'm not by any means saying he's a better boxer than Usyk, because he's not. But if he landed one on him, Usyk's fucked. Put it that way. Anyway,
just to finish off with the emotion that spilled out after. I mean,
yeah,
I would nearly. I would go in a bit. I'll be honest with you. I didn't shed a tear, but I tell you what, there was a bloody lump in my throat because it were the outburst of emotion that come out of him. I just felt so relieved for one that he won. But when you think about what he's been through, not just over last year with his son, which is obviously devastating, but his life story in general. I mean, it's just an incredible story.
It is. Everything about the guy is amazing, which we detailed expertly in a podcast that never got released, Richard. But it'll never see light of day now because it needs updating. You know what I mean? We might do a new one, we might not. But yeah, that guy is impressive, all the way from his youth, all the way to where he's got himself to today. And it's unfortunate that he's fell out with Dana White at UFC, and we won't see him back there, or very unlikely we'll see him back there, because I think a fight with Tom Aspinall would be one to whet people's appetite for sure.
But yeah, for sure. I mean, he's the baddest man on the planet at the moment.
Go, Tom.
I would say I'd give it to Ngannou.
To Francis, yeah.
I still think Tom would kick his ass, but
that's because you're a little fanboy bitch, though, isn't it?
Yep.
I'd agree as well, Tom. By the way, more chance of bumping into Tom than Francis.
Anyway. Trouble. Yeah, go on.
Anyway, let's move on to UFC 308 this weekend in Abu Dhabi. Finally, we get to watch UFC at a reasonable time instead of a fucking stupid o'clock, and we get to watch two of the biggest hitters, two of the biggest names, and two of the most exciting fighters on UFC roster, don't we, Chris? I mean, Max Holloway up against Ilia Topuria, BMF against Featherway Champion. It's one for us all to sit down and get excited about, isn't it?
Oh, it's absolutely mouth-watering. I mean, El Matador against Blessed Holloway.
Yeah, man.
I'll tell you what, there's been a bit of shit going into this as well. I've been watching some back and forths they've had.
He's a little wind-up merchant, isn't he, Topuria, to be fair, the little Spanish bastard.
He's got the lot, hasn't he? I mean, he really has got the lot.
He's hard not to like. He's hard not to like, man. And them training videos that we've been watching this week, man, that boy packs a punch, doesn't he? I mean, we knew anyway, but from one that he landed on Jai Herbert in London a couple of years ago, all the way to the ones that he's been landing on Alexander the Great Volkanovski, mate. He eats anyway, but when you watch him doing pad work, man, the sound and the crack, it's unbelievable. It's like a train.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, for sure it is. But going back to that Jai fight, that was up at lightweight, and that's when he had the little incident with Paddy Pimblett, wasn't it? Mr. Sanitizer Head, when they were arguing. And
yeah.
But yeah, even from that moment, you just thought, you know what? There's something about this kid. You could tell. Every so often, some of these fighters come along, and you just get the. I mean, he's a good-looking lad. He speaks well. He's a ferocious little bastard, and he backs it up, and he's incredible in cage. And I mean, you know what I mean? He's. we were aware of him because in that Jai fight, I think he got dropped in first round. He definitely lost first couple of rounds.
Yeah,
and he ended up finishing him in third round, didn't he? And that obviously has been the British lads. It really got us our attention. That we thought Jai did a good job at first couple of rounds.
He did. He were beating him. It was a London event, obviously. We were there backing Jai Herbert, and it was an early fight for Ilia Topuria. But that KO made our tails prick up. I know yours in particular. You were on him straight away from that, and it's been non-stop ever since, hasn't it? I mean, one thing I would say is he had a cancelled bout with Movsar Evelev. That'd be interesting to see how a fighter like that does against him. But I'd back him to beat him as well. But
I would.
And
go on, Matt. He's got really good wrestling. He actually came into UFC and everyone were touting him as a bit more of a wrestler grappler type. I don't know whether it's just his striking that's improved so much over the last 2 or 3 years or what, or whether he's always had that in his arsenal. But he keeps touting himself as I'm a new generation at UFC MMA fighter. I'm a new guy. And for what I've seen, he can do a lot. He's got multiple submissions. His power's crazy, and he's got extremely good wrestling.
He's got a few decisions. Well, he's got a couple of decision wins in his pro career, and I mean, one against Bryce Mitchell, who's a bit of a grappling specialist himself, so that's impressive. And then he went all the way to a decision against Josh Emmett. That were a good fight. I mean, it was a unanimous decision. Don't get me wrong, but Josh Emmett put up a really good fight against Ilia Topuria. To be fair,
he took some bloody damage. If I can remember rightly, his face was a bloody mess. Josh Emmett, tough guy.
He did, but then he put all them doubts to bed that he might not actually be top shelf by beating Alexander Volkanovski, didn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we covered that, and we were saying, because we've been big on him for a couple of years, haven't we, really? And we were saying, when it got made, that fight, I think I backed him to win. I usually get him right, don't I? But anyway, we were saying this is a true test for him, though. Yeah. Especially with who Volk's been in. I mean, Volk's a bit of a legend already, isn't it? An active legend, if you want to call him that.
Oh, absolutely.
So that would have true. I mean, first round against Volk, it looked like to me he was just downloading Volk's movements. Really, he'd probably give Volk the edge in that first round.
But it looked like Volk started a bit quicker, didn't it? But then, I say from round 2, he took over.
He took over. I mean, that finish he did. I mean, there's not many fire to body like he does. He hit Volk with like a left right to body, like ferociously. And then
imagine second one of them though. I bet the fucking wind flies out of you, mate. Jeez.
Well, it's that left hook straight to the liver, isn't it? He cracks him to the liver, and then he moves from there straight up to head. And what he did to Volk was brutal, wasn't it? I mean, everyone took note then.
I'm folding like Francis Ngannou and end of a fucking Anthony Joshua punch from taking one of them, mate. To be honest, we bigged up Francis at the beginning, but he did fold like a deck chair against Anthony Joshua. But I mean, Topuria, as much as we've just waxed lyrical against him, he's up against another great and another future Hall of Famer in Max Holloway, and I just want to go there again because I love it. It's my favourite UFC moment. But pretty well, 2 of them are Max Holloway ones. Obviously, one's the Justin Gaethje fight right at the end of then, and the other one is the no look. I'm the greatest boxer in the UFC. Fucking looking at commentary team and landing and dodging punches against, as I say, Kelvin Qatar. That was an absolutely, it was cool as fuck moment with that as well. So, but as you say, he is up against a genuine one of the best boxers in UFC. But the people on Max Holloway's, I just want to wax about Max for a little bit because the people on his resume is fucking incredible, to be honest. He's beat Kelvin Qatar, as I say. He's beat Charles Oliveira. He's beat Jose Aldo twice. He's beat Brian Ortega, Frankie Edgar, Yair Rodriguez, Arnold Allen, Justin Gaethje, and Zombie, to name but a few. I mean, he's only lost to true top end at fight game in Conor McGregor, Justin Poirier, and Volkanovski, as we say. So he's earned a shot to get another shot at title. Obviously, he was champion before. Well, Max Holloway, a few years ago, he's been in UFC that long. You see, he was youngest man to ever get to 10 UFC wins. It was, I think he joined when he was like 18 or something. Did he? Did Max like that?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He's up now in this fucking fight against an absolute battering ram, and like you say, a new generation fighter. But he seems to be peaking at right time, does Max Holloway, doesn't he? You know what I mean? He's coming. He's got this fight. It's going to be a tough fight, but he looks in form of his career, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. I mean, for somebody to go to Brazil and beat Jose Aldo in Brazil, in Rio, I mean, that's just to highlight one of them, which for me is incredible. And all them wins that you've just mentioned, there's a little turning point after Volk beat him through the 3 times, which they were close. I mean, apart from the last one, the other 2 were close. One of them were razor close.
Well, yeah, the second fight, most of MMA media thought that Max took that, but he didn't.
Third one, though, it was conclusive, wasn't it? Volk absolutely, in every aspect of that fight, he come out on top and he looked fabulous with Volk. But from that moment, then I don't know if people, like, in retrospect, think he's actually younger. I mean, how old is he? 32? 30?
Yeah, somewhere around
32, yeah, he's around there. He just seems to have this new lease of life, doesn't he? I mean, last few fights he's had, I mean, to do that to Gaethje at UFC 300, and everyone identifies, like we've said it, that's the single most, the highlight real moment. What he did in that last 10 seconds was incredible. But it wasn't just that for me.
Well, he got a fucking 600k bonus, didn't it? So.
Oh, yeah, but everyone were worried about Gaethje's power, everybody.
Oh, I thought Gaethje would take him out, yeah.
Well, I thought he'd win on points all the way. I thought he's a better boxer. He's a big guy anyway for that weight. So moving up to lightweight, he'd carry it weight well.
That was what carried my opinion, was Gaethje being the natural lightweight and a very fucking good one. You know what I mean? I thought that would be what would take him over the line, but you know.
But yeah, it wasn't just for me about the last 10 seconds, which were biggest and best moment I've ever seen in my life in combat sports. It was the actual, all the 5 rounds. He just looked, for me, that's his weight. He looked so good at that weight. And that performance from start to finish on that big, on that huge stage like that against a legend in Gaethje as well. To fundamentally, he outclassed him in that fight for me. There were only probably a round, I'd say, were pretty close. Rest of it were just all Max.
He did, and that might stand him in good stead for dropping back down now to featherweight from lightweight division to see how he's going to. Obviously, he's coming up against the champ and an absolute fucking steam train, as we've said. But it might stand him in good stead having them couple of bouts back up at lightweight. I know we fought Dustin at lightweight as well a few years ago, but
yeah, because he lost that, didn't he? That's what people were judging on. Oh well, wait a minute.
It was a last-minute replacement, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
unfair to be judging him on that, to be honest.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, he just looked brilliant at that way, and I'm not sure about him moving back down now. Against such a powerful guy and such a well all-rounded guy as Ilia Topuria.
Yeah, well, he went straight into rankings, didn't he? He's ranked in both now. Is Max? Like, I mean, if you look at top five guys after Ilia Topuria in featherweight division, you've got Volkanovski, we've got Max himself's at number 2, and then we've got Diego Lopez coming up on heels. Yair Rodriguez, who seems to be sort of faltering a bit now after having his peak, and Movsar Evelev, the forever dull, fucking, but very good.
You know what though? It's the low. I know I'm going off a bit here, but the Lopez one, you could match him with anybody up there, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, he's such an entertainer. He's class as well.
That's where I was going to go. To be fair, at the end of that, if whoever gets through this, I think Diego Lopez might be their next fight.
Yeah.
Depending on who his next opponent is, I'm sure he'll fight again soon enough. His last one was at Sphere, wasn't it? Maybe we mentioned before a fight against Arnold Allen would be good, didn't we? But yeah. Bear with me 1 second, people. We appear to have lost Chris for a second. There we go. Apologies for that. I'm not sure what happened, but I won't lie to you. It's the second time it's happened and we started again, but this time I'm just going to fucking bash on because You know, fuck it. Shit happens in this technical world.
Yeah. So what? How do you see? Without making a prediction, how do you see it going this fight? I don't mean maybe he'll win, but how can you see how can you see it progressing the rounds? They're both self-proclaimed as the best boxers in UFC, aren't they? So can you see him just standing there? I mean, Ilia Topuria, sorry to answer my own question, but he's already saying that he's going to go in first 10 seconds, point at middle octagon, and say, fucking let's have it now. And if he does that, mate.
Imagine how good that'd be.
What if he obliges as well?
Just the whole fight's just same as last 10 seconds at fucking Gaethje fight. But I mean, he did say when it first happened, he said Gaethje was stupid for engaging, didn't he? He come out and said that it was bad fight IQ, and he said he was stupid for engaging for that. He should have just stood out of the way. But I mean, like you said, he was probably losing fight anyway. So it was like, why not? Yeah. But Ilia does seem to have flipped on that now, and now he's talking about, fuck it, let's just get it on. And I, for one, pray to fucking God they do, because if them two just walked at the middle of the octagon and just start swinging, I think my head might blow off.
I mean, if they both just point down,
they both just go, come on, let's do it here and now and see who's best boxer, who's best striker in UFC. Let's do it and see who's there.
You know what?
Amazing.
I think that'd be a bad idea for Max. For me, Max in this fight to do well, he's got to keep his distance and his range. He's a lot taller than him. He's definitely a better kicker for sure. So for me,
Max has famously got a great tank as well, hasn't he? So I think it would fucking, if he could survive Topuria's onslaughts for a few rounds and then do something like that, that might be his better way to victory. If he goes straight in from fucking Bell, Uta, on or whatever you want to call it, then I agree with you. I think he might be in trouble.
Yeah, it'd be a bad idea with Ilia's power, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
bad idea.
He's just so fast. Max is fast himself, but Ilia Topuria, man, he's just so quick. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it should be one hell of a fight.
Just quickly before we move on to the next fight down.
Yeah.
If you look at, how many fights has he had? He's had 26 and 7, Max.
Yeah.
And Topuria's what? Has he had 14?
15 and 0.
Yeah, 15 and 0. He's vastly experienced, isn't he? Holloway.
He's a lot more experienced in UFC. I mean, Max Holloway's been in UFC since 2012. Like I say, he joined when he was 18 years old at 2012. So that does make him 32 now. Well, 30-ish now. So he's a lot more experienced in UFC compared to Ilia. Ilia's had 15 professional bouts, but
And how many 5-rounders has he done, Ilia? How many times has he been distance?
For me, Max one with Josh Emmett. That's it. In his last few, anyway.
For Max to do well, he's got to drag this fight deep, stay away from him early, keep his distance, use his kicks, and he's like a long jab, and basically take him into early. I think the earlier in this fight is going to be really dangerous to Topuria. Max needs to drag him deep for me. Pretty much stay away from him for a good 2 or 3 rounds.
It would be interesting to see if anybody does take a different tactic. If Max uses his kicking a lot more, or lo and behold, if any of them shoot a shot, you know what I mean?
I was going to say that Topuria is well regarded when he first came into UFC as having good wrestling skills. He come in predominantly as more of a wrestler than a striker, and we've not seen much of it, but I know he does possess it.
I can't see him going fucking this, though, can you? I think it's served him so well so far to just go in there and fucking overwhelm people with windmill.
Yeah, well, he's confident as well, isn't he? I mean, for all shit he talks, he does talk some shit, but I like to listen to it because it's box office, it's entertaining.
Yeah,
but
it is, definitely.
He can usually back it up, so it's going to be interesting.
He can definitely back it up, can Ilia Topuria? It is going to be interesting, and I can't wait. I couldn't wait since moment that since Gaethje's face hit the fucking deck in the cage at UFC 300, and he's calling out Topuria, and Topuria's accepting this challenge. I've been looking forward to this moment ever since. It's finally here. We're finally going to get to watch it, and as I say, at a reasonable time. So well done, UFC, for that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, fuck you for Manchester.
Yeah, big fuck you for Manchester. Yeah. Why don't you treat us like Abu Dhabi, man? Is it something to do with that by any chance? I think it might be. Anyway, big massive co-main event. If that wasn't enough, we've got hopefully, Khamzat Chimaev, who sometimes struggles to make it in, but at the time of recording, is still due to face Bobby Knuckles, Robbie Whittaker, in the co-main event of this card, which, Bobby Knuckles has looked really good since his loss to Dricus du Plessis. He's come back in and had a good couple of wins. Khamzat's been Khamzat. He's looked a bit ropey in a couple of fights. He's looked incredible in some other ones. All depends where his headspace is at and his health and stuff like that. But this, again, should be an absolute barnstormer, shouldn't
it? It's just a fucking great fight, isn't it? Yeah. Khamzat, when he first burst on scene, he was fighting bloody 3 and 4 times a year. I think he fought twice in about a month or two, didn't he? At Fight Island.
10 days.
Yeah, 10
His
days.
First 2 fights in UFC were 10 days apart. And he got performance at night in both.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So, for me, just what you're going to get from him, don't you? He never seems to change. He comes out at a bat out of the hell at 500 miles an hour. He tries to
smash him, kill everybody.
Yeah, he does, yeah. And for me, it's going to come down to with him is, I'm not sure. I mean, this is a 5-rounder as well.
We co-main, yeah, probably. I'd have to double check on that, but possibly. Holy shit! Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that, folks, but I'm going to New Zealand in a couple of months, and a spider's just walked across my bedroom floor that had looked right at fucking home in New Zealand, so I've just had to knock and bash the living piss out of it like I'm Ilia Topuria myself, because it's in my bedroom and I don't want it crawling into my mouth when I'm sleeping later. So.
It's a small bedroom, that, mate. We're in closet.
Hey.
So don't be coming out of that closet, you.
It's not true.
Oh, fuck me. Sorry, mate. I apologise for that.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm still in. Anyway, Spider's Cup. Let's continue.
You haven't broke your knuckle on him, have you?
No, I used my deck shoes, mate. He's fucked. Anyway, Khamzat Chimaev. From one fucking spider to another one that goes about the ring like a spider, going there, shooting his shots. Relentless fucking pressure he puts on his opponents, which we saw in fights like against Kevin Holland, which he made very short work of. But he's up against, like we say, a formidable opponent in Robert Whittaker this weekend. Number 3 middleweight, former champion. As we say, he's looked good as Whittaker since he had his own health problems and stuff, didn't he? But since he's come back, he's looked really good, and he'll be hoping to get another shot at Dricus du Plessis, maybe for his title.
I mean, he's just the man in that division, really, isn't he? I mean, apart from Izzy, which he lost to 3 times, he'd beaten everybody in division. It got to a point where he was desperate for some new blood, and then we finally got some with Dricus du Plessis, and then a few others that filtered in.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite weight class in UFC. I don't think it's anybody's favorite weight class, is it? But it is picking up a little bit from when Izzy were just wiping everybody out and there were nothing for anybody.
Yeah, I mean, you've had Strickland come from nowhere that wasn't even ranked inside top 10 and beat Izzy. Then Dricus kind of come from nowhere and he's never really been. Even now, he still doesn't radar Dricus for some reason. He does a bit. He's not easy on eye, is he? He's obviously really skilled. He does everything well, but he's not like he looks a bit messy with how he fights. But that division's definitely in a better nick now than it was 18 months, 2 years ago. And I just think with Bobby Knuckles, Whittaker, it's a really good opportunity for fucking Chimaev.
It is,
and it's gonna come down to, for me, is how fit really is Chimaev, because he. Like we said earlier, he fought twice in 10 days, and I think he fought like 4 times in the first 18 months or so. And then he's just had so many injury problems.
There's a Kamaru Usman fight as well, mate, which we all said. Yeah. A lot of people said if that were a 5-round fight, he'd have probably gassed and ended up losing that as well. And we know for one thing for sure that Bobby Knuckles is turning up fucking prepared and in peak fitness because that guy's an ultimate pro, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, yeah. But I mean, for me, like I was saying, it all depends on what condition he's in. If that is a 5-rounder, which I'm not sure, we'd have to check, he might be in fucking trouble. Against Kamaru Usman, I thought he could have just lost it, which I would not have been surprised if he'd gone the other way. Gilbert Burns, another one, were extremely close. Early on, he pretty much demolishes him, doesn't he? He blows himself out. Is he doing that because of maybe some fitness problems or some health problems?
Well, maybe that's what he thinks. Maybe I've got to get in there and get them done quick time, because if not, it's going to fucking blow up in my face. Maybe that is a tactic. I'm not sure.
This for me is a huge test for him, because Robert Whittaker's got the skills. He's awkward. He's like an in-out style. I've covered before, like a karate type style. He's very well all round. He's decent wrestling. He's just. I mean, for me, it's a really, really close matchup. This, and I'll actually say I've actually missed him. I have me. He's box office, isn't he? Everything about him.
He's good fun.
He's a screwball. He's a good fighter. He brings it every time. He's unpredictable. He's just. You know what? UFC as well. Sorry to babble on, but they need him, because if you look at some of these aging stars now, especially that division, but some of these aging stars at UFC now, and then you've got your man O'Malley losing, you've got McGregor, fuck knows what he's doing, you've got Jones, is he going to come back after the next one? I mean, there's all this uncertainty. UFC need him. Yeah, and UFC also need him over that part of the world. They love him over there. He's like a fucking king over them parts. So for me,
when he's being Chechen instead of Swedish, he's another one that can't decide where he's from. But I know a lot of fighters fight. Well, Bobby Whittaker himself, he was born in New Zealand but fights for Australia. Out of Australia. For example,
Chimaev's 13-0. He's fighting somebody with over double amount of professional MMA experience. Don't forget, he's a former champion as well, Bobby Knuckles. So for me, this is an extremely close fight.
It is.
Which one I can't wait for. I cannot wait for that fight.
It's another one that I'm going to be umming and ahhing at the end of this podcast when we do some predictions about which way I'm going to go. But we will get to that a bit later on. We'll move on now to the other 3 fights. And it's the return of Lerone Murphy, Manchester lad.
Yeah, Manchester's video.
Coming back against Daniga, who's been doing all right. He put on a very good show against Diego Lopez at last minute a couple of months ago.
4 hours notice he did that on.
Yeah, that was crazy. He was just there to watch it, I think. When he was like, "Have you got your fucking gloves, mate?"
He was in crowd.
And get you sent in, and he nearly fucking took him out way and nearly fucking got some out of it, didn't it? As well, against someone like Diego Lopez, it was impressive as a motherfucker, man. To be fair,
I mean, our boy Lerone Murphy though from Manchester, he's again out. He's a great gym, Manchester top team. Some great lads over there. Great coach, great team. Lerone Murphy, he's ranked 12 in division. He's undefeated as well. And his last fight against Edson Barboza, a lot of people were saying that was his biggest test leading into that. I mean, Barboza's a veteran.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Unbelievable kickboxer.
He lost his first fight in UFC, and then he went on. He's been on a 6-fight win streak since, and like I say, culminating in that Edson Barboza victory, where he got himself performance at night bonus and stuff like that. But like I say, he is coming up against an informed Daniga, and he's been out of action for a bit. So started off in football, didn't he? He's a United fan. I think started off in football, coming through there.
I think he'd get in fucking team now, to be fair.
Yeah, well, he's probably big captain of the cunts. But yeah, he's. But
yeah, in that featherweight division, I mean, he's a highly skilled guy. He's ranked. Is he ranked just outside? 14? Did we say 12? Just 12. Ranked just outside at top 10.
If he's 12, and he's got an interesting story. Some of these fighters have got some great stories, man. Like he got. When he was young, what when he shot? I've got it written down here. For 2013, he got shot 3 times, once in face and twice in neck. He had to have all his teeth are prosthetic, and he's got a tiny bit of bullet embedded in his tongue permanently.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we go on about this happened in Manchester as well. We're going about all these Americans getting shot and being gun happy and that. But yeah, they got shot 3 times, twice in neck, once in face. Still lived to tell. What a fucking hard bastard. You know what I mean? I won't want to be standing across octagon with somebody like that.
No,
but it is.
And again, Dan Ige, he seems to be hit and miss, doesn't he? He comes in, he always turns up. He doesn't seem to be able to put a run of wins, does he, Dan Ige?
I think Dan Ige's another one of these guys that's got a fucking ceiling, hasn't he? He does against mid guys, he does really well, but then as soon as he comes up against somebody who's top shelf or knocking on top shelf, he struggles. He's lost to some names that we've already said today. He's lost to Bryce Mitchell. He's lost to Josh Emmett. He's lost to Diego Lopez, Kelvin Qatar, Mossad Evelev, and Korean Zombie. These are all top shelf guys that he seems to fall short against. Anybody else, he does really well. As we said, he did really well in that Diego Lopez fight as well. But he seems to drop a bit short. But he's ranked higher than Murphy. Murphy's not been up in there and got wins against them. So it all lines up to be another great bout, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a good test for Murphy. I mean, I've got down there that he's 14-0-1 Murphy. I think he's still undefeated, isn't
he? Yeah.
And he's 18-8.
His first one was a draw, not a loss. Sorry, I said a draw. Loss earlier, didn't I? Yeah, his debut was a draw, surprisingly.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect him to get a job done. I know we're not quite going on to predictions yet, but I think he'll have too many tools for him, I would say, Murphy.
Hopefully, let's have one of our own getting some results over there. Okay, before that we have got Ankalaev Rakic, light heavyweight.
This is an interesting one. This is very interesting.
It is very interesting, but one thing's for sure is if Ankalaev comes through this, he's got to get that Pereira fight.
I think it depends how he comes through it. If he drags him all out, gets him to the side of the cage and holds him there 15 minutes, you know what? There's some at the UFC, they don't like that. These matchmakers, they've got the fucking back up with him for some. Well, I think what it was when he fought Jan Blachowicz in Brazil for vacant title, and they both stunk place out. But yeah, he's got that in his locker as Ankalaev. He's a very good striker. He's heavy-handed. I mean, that's Johnny Walker. I think when he hit Johnny Walker, I think Johnny Walker's still laid there now, to be honest with you. But yeah, and he's not quite as good a wrestler as people make him out to be as well. He's not just a daggy wrestler that a lot of people.
Yeah, because he's from Dagestan, a bit like the guy we're going to talk about in a minute in Shira Bullet. His focus. They just get lumped in to being a grappler and a wrestler straight away, don't they? Because they're from Dagestan. But he's a bit like Shira Bullet himself. He's good with his hands, and that's probably a big part of his game.
He's got some power in his hands, yeah, for sure. He mixes it up well. He's a good.
You're back.
Yeah, for me, guess who we're ringing me then?
Richard.
He's a numpty, isn't he?
Fucking Richard with your belly knows that we're recording. What an idiot.
Oh, you can't make it here and he's still ringing us. But anyway, Alexander Rakic. Now, I like him.
Might have been wanting to give us his predictions.
He's run out of cat litter, hasn't he?
He's been sleeping in his fucking weirdo.
Alexander Rakic, for me, I really like him. I mean, against Yuri, he come up short, didn't he? But early on, I tell you what, he was extremely good back and forth. Rakic's got good skills. Rakic, I like his striking. He mixes it up pretty well.
Yeah, they've both got a lot of wins against the same guys. But yeah, like you said, Rakic, he's lost against Yuri, and he's lost against Jan Blachowicz. But you know, Ankalaev's lost against Paul Craig again. It's that old adage of MMA maths don't work, does it? It's how you do on night.
I would say this has got fucking points written all over it, decision all over it. I would say there's a few on this main card that I'd be leaning towards that, to be honest. Yeah,
me too. To be honest, yeah, we'll like again. We will get to that. I mean,
can I ask you a question though? Do you actually think UFC won Ankalaev to win? Do you think that they look at it in that way?
I think that they're happy to keep him. They're happy to keep him away from Alex Pereira, and I think if he keeps winning, it's inevitable he's got to fight Alex Pereira. I mean, he'll already have a bee in his bonnet at the moment about not getting that title shot yet anyway. But I think they're happy to keep him away from Pereira in case he just fucking grapples him down and fucking just has him on floor for fucking 25 minutes.
Well, yeah, for sure. If that fight were to happen, which if he wins this in any kind of half decent fashion, then you would say he'd be next in line. He would definitely be the best wrestler that he's fought, Pereira. But again, you're not telling me UFC want that fight. It wouldn't surprise me if Rakic, I secretly they'd love it if Rakic would win. And
I think they probably would as well, because there's a lot of Dagestani guys coming through, winning belts, and I think they'd rather keep Alex where he is, and then put him up to heavyweight once Stipe and Jones fights out away, especially if they both retire.
I would agree with that 100%. Plus, they're saying he's having 6 months out. I think he's got a few injuries now, Pereira. It won't surprise me if he's healing up and putting a bit of timber on.
Fucking won't surprise me if he stepped in for fucking Stipe in December, to be fair. It's just the way he is. He'd just be like, Sharma, I'm in. Let's do it. Fuck's sake. But no, as we know, Tom Aspinall is the backup for that fight, so that's not going to happen. We'll move down anyway from that to one that I've just touched on, Magomedov against Petro Sayan at the middleweight. Obviously, Magomedov doesn't get to fight in the US.
Yeah, go on, mate.
Sorry. Yeah, obviously, Magomedov doesn't get to fight in the US. He can only fight in Saudi and Abu Dhabi and stuff because of his eye condition. It's not legal for him to fight in the US, so there's only so much he can do in this middleweight. But he's an exciting middleweight fighter, and that, as we've just said before, that division does need him. But, he will turn up with his crazy eyes and his fucking mental beard, and he'll probably set out to be doing a job on Petro Sayan, won't
he? Yeah, he will. I mean, for me, if I were, how do you pronounce his surname? Petro Sayan, is it? I'd be mixing it up. If I were him, I'd be trying to mix it up, and I won't just be standing up feet. I mean, Bullet has looked impressive in some of his fights, but he does look a bit one-dimensional. So I think the longer he can drag it on and mix it up, I think a lot better. The more chance I give him to win. Having said that, Bullet's a big star over there. They absolutely love him around them parts. So
they do. He's got the character, and he's got the mental look, and he's got the exciting striking style.
Yeah, he's flashy, isn't he? He's dynamic. He's got a good array of talent.
Striking, and he's controversial as well, isn't he? As I say, his eye injury that he got because he never got treated when he got something when he was a bit younger, and it got worse and worse. He had to have about 8 surgeries on it, so he's all fucking pointing in different directions and shit, which don't allow him to fight in the United States.
I think, by all means, as well. I think he's been in a bit of bother outside the cage.
Yeah, he had his contract postponed because he knocked fuck out of a bloke for kissing his missus in shopping centre or something.
I'm not sure what it was, but I just know he's been in a bit of bother.
Yeah, that's what I read about. He took exception, because PDA is public displays of affection and that over there, and not really allowed, other. And apparently he's seen some dude kissing his wife, and he took exception to it and fucking went and banged him. This guy banged him back. He then just walked outside the building, did Magomedov, and just waited for him. And then they caught him on CCTV, just fucking ragging him and stamping on his head and shit. So UFC had to postpone giving him his contract because of that, to make sure all that got cleared up. In fact, I think it's still ongoing in courts now. He's still not actually being
there's worse than that goes on, isn't there? Behind the scenes, surely.
Oh yeah, I dare say, but yeah, it just seems a bit harsh for him to be an absolute killer, just for him to be smashing up some member at public because he's kissing his wife in public. Like, but
but he did deserve it. Yeah, but he did deserve it. Yeah.
Yeah, she might have been a right fucking munter. He might have been teaching him a lesson for that also. I don't know. You never know, do you? You never know.
What do you want to do? Do you want to work his way back up with predictions?
Yep. Let's box it off, mate. Let's box it off. Sorry, everybody. I know we've had a couple of technical issues today because this tech guy's fucked off to fucking Skegness. But
he's just been in my back garden knocking at window.
But yeah, we'll run through some predictions in reverse, and then we'll leave you be. Okay, so what do we think? Magomedov and Petrosyan, middleweight bout.
I'd just edge for Bullet. I think it'll go decision though.
You think it'll go that way?
So yeah,
I'm backing him to win it. It maybe in third, but I just think that because of him not being able to fight in States, he only gets to fight so many times a year. He probably wants to fight more. So I think he just wants to put on that massive show every time and show he's got to really to get himself in rankings and get himself any chance of getting up there. Or if he's got his eyes on a strapping future, then he's got to impress each and every time he goes in octagon that little bit more than others, I think. So I'm going to go with him to get a KO win. So Ankalaev Rekic, light heavyweight.
Yeah, again, I just think Ankalaev's going to make it very ugly. He's going to push him against cage. He's going to ragdoll him a little bit. I think on feet, they're pretty even on feet. I'd probably arguably say Ankalaev's got a bit more power, but I think Rakic has got a better array of strikes. I'd like Rakic to win, but I think Ankalaev again. I think it's going to go distance, and I think Ankalaev's going to win on points. I think he's going to make it ugly. He's not going to give him a chance. He's going to. I'm not sure if that's going to get him a title shot, though, if he does do that. But that's what I think he'll do. I go for decision, Ankalaev.
I agree totally with decision, and I think you're right, mate. Yeah, I think he has to do something that wants to make Dana White make that fight with Alex Pereira.
Yeah. If he comes out and stops him in any which way, if he stops him in any which way, then that's a statement, isn't it? Rakic is ranked 5. He's already ranked as number 1. If he stops him in a good fashion, for me, you've got to give him title shot. You've got to. Rank number 1, and it's similar to our very own Edwards, Leon Edwards. It was saying with him, he will rank number 1 for. It seemed like forever. Yeah. And there's just something that they don't quite like, and it's a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, if you ain't got the old rib. Well, that's it. That's it. But in that light heavyweight division, if Alex Pereira's to stay in there, there's not many more opponents apart from Ankalaev that it can come up against that's worthy of it anyway. So it might be Ankalaev or a move up to heavyweight, but we shall see. Okay, we'll go to Murphy and Iga. I'll go first on this one. I'm going to go more with Art, obviously. Manchester lad. Up there, United fan. Go on the Reds.
Art and head.
Yeah, that's what I said. But yeah, I'm gonna go Murphy to win this one. Not sure how though. To be fair, I like Iga. Yeah. I think he's got a gas can, and he's a good fighter. So Dana might have to put fucking bonuses up again to try and get somebody to knock somebody out.
I don't know what it is with this card. Like I said earlier, I just see on this main card as pretty much all bloody decisions. I don't know what it is with it.
It's weird because it's an exciting card.
It's
exciting.
Is that because
very good
they're so close? Yeah. Is that because they're so close? Or I've just got a feeling there's going to be shitloads of decisions. I might be wrong. Hopefully, I am wrong. But yeah, this one I cannot see past Leroy Murphy. For me, he's on a different level to Dan
Agreed.
He's undefeated. He's English. He's flashy. I like him. And for me, he'll be too much for him, so he will be getting the win.
All right, sorry, ladies.
I will say it will be points as well, I feel.
I was going to say, sorry, with these predictions are a bit dull as we're all going for the same thing, but I think it might change a little bit now in these last 2 fights. We shall see. Bobby Knuckles, Hamzat Chimaev. Middleweight bout. Hamzat hopefully making his way back into the octagon against the revived Bobby Knuckles. How do you see it going?
Did we find out whether it was 3 or 5 rounds this?
I've not checked on it.
Because I think if it's a 5-rounder, I think Chimaev's fucked it. Because for how he finishes fights, especially if he starts at 900 miles an hour like he usually does, he's a seasoned veteran Whittaker who's had double amount of fights. And he's got brilliant cardio. Brilliant cardio. So I think if it's a 5-rounder, I would definitely give it to Robert Whittaker. If it's 3 rounds, I'm off Chimaev on points. Again, sorry. I'm not sitting on fence. Genuinely, I am thinking there's going to be shitloads of decisions.
Yeah. I mean, and it makes sense. It does make sense. I totally agree. I mean, we watch all events pretty much together, so we're going to have similar views on them. But yeah, we agree that Hamzat, he can gas out. He looks great at the beginning of fights, and then start struggling. So, and I personally think that Whittaker's not the guy to do that against. So as much as I like Hamzat and as much as I want him to keep winning and entertaining us, I think he's going to get his first defeat in UFC against Bobby Knuckles this weekend. I think Bobby Knuckles is going to finish him. You
think he's going to finish him?
I do. I'm going to throw it in there. He's going to finish him because there's been too many fucking decisions already on this show. So Bobby Knuckles is going to finish Hamzat Chimaev. End of round 2. You heard it here first. Big one.
What shot?
Big.
You predicted shot as well.
There we are. Fucking Matty Davey left. You seen him earlier. Anyway, the big one. Max Holloway, Ilia Topuria, the baddest motherfucker against the champ. Which way do you think this is going? Obviously, you think it's going to go to a decision, you barling cunt. But who's going to get that decision?
Fucking yeah, mate.
It's hard, isn't it? It's really fucking hard.
You know what? My heart says I think that Max is going to win the decision. I think he'll just drag it out. Like I said, he's going to avoid it early on, and he's probably going to overtake in later rounds.
Wow.
But my head is saying that Topuria is going to get him within a couple of rounds like he did to Volk. I'm really, really split on this, I'll be honest with you. Max has never been stopped, has he? Never been knocked out.
He only got dropped for the first time in his last fight. You know.
Fuck it. I'm going in. Go on then. I think Ilia's going to stop him.
Fucking hell. You're just going on about Max being fucking never getting beat or fucking getting knocked down. I don't like that.
Yeah.
And then you fuck it, I'm going in. I thought he's going for Max. I think Ilia's going to do it.
No, you know what? I can't. Ilia's he's a special guy, isn't he? As good as for me, it's about timing. If you look at the timing now of this, I mean, Max obviously is coming back off 300, but he's lost 6 or 7 times, like Topuria says. Topuria is younger, undefeated, coming off demolishing Volk. He's super confident. His tail's up. He's got the skill. I cannot see Ilia Topuria losing.
That's fair enough. That is fair enough. But on this one, I'm going to go with my guy, Max Holloway, mate. I am going to go the other way because I just think his resume is better. I think
his IQ as well. Yeah. He's...
Putting Volkanovski aside, I think Topuria has struggled at times against lesser fighters, much lesser fighters than Max, but lesser fighters certainly. But then he turned up and did what he did against Volkanovski, so that's sort of skewing it all a little bit for me. Maybe that's because Volkanovski has come off 2 fucking bad losses to Islam Makhachev, especially that second one where he got fucking knocked the fuck out with a big kick to head. I don't know, but that's my reasoning for going for Max. I just think he's in form of his life, and I think his resume speaks for itself. Only losing to the best of the best, which I think Ilia Topuria definitely has the potential to get there, but I don't think he's there yet. So I'm going to go for Max. I'm going to go for my Max. He's going to fucking tip it up, and he's going to beat him late. I think he's going to finish him, but late.
One thing for sure, whichever way it goes, it's going to be an unbelievable fight. I just quickly think, with weight cut again for Max, and when you throw into mix Ilia's power, with weight cut and looking gaunt and this type of thing, he's a fucking heavy-handed boy, Ilia Topuria, isn't he?
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be that surprised if fucking Topuria KOs him in round 1, but nobody's ever done that before, so. Why should we start?
All right, I've got one for you quickly before we wrap it up. Do you think you're going to point at the centre of octagon?
Yeah.
Topuria saying he's going to do it straight away.
I think he fancies a bit of it. Does Topuria? I don't know if it's going to be as soon as first bell goes, mate. He's just going to walk straight in and start going, let's go.
I hope he does. Fuck. Oh, mate. It's going to be wild, that, if he does. Yeah, it's going to be wild.
But if they're still going in last 30 seconds, I think we might get another go at it. And that's what everybody wants to do, but we'll see. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's just watch it. My legs are going numb. I've got to remove that spider corpse, and you've got to give Richard a bell and call him a fucking idiot for ringing you during the recording that he knew very well we were doing. So thank you, everybody, for listening once again. Hopefully you've seen our latest Meet the Fighter series with Matt the Hammer Hodgson. Great interview, really good banter and laughs all the way through that. We enjoyed that interview thoroughly. We'll bring more. As we say, next up, we've got Dennis Stringpong coming in, but all being well, and we'll be back with you with Joe Lister's confirmed. There's loads coming your way. Loads more content coming your way. Hopefully, we can keep getting this quality content here. Hopefully, we'll get Richard back. We'll have less technical problems, and hopefully, you'll tell everybody you know to subscribe to our YouTube channel and all social media pages. So, thank you very much for listening once again today, and from me and from that guy there, Chris. We'll see you later.